X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your only weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every X-Men story from A to Z.
I'm Saint Adam.
And I am, is there a Saint Zachary? I'm not Catholic. Probably Zachariah if there is one. Anyway, Faith and Begorrah to all y'alls. It's as close as St. Patrick's Day as we're going to get.
Yeah. So we got to dive into that pot of gold here, buddy.
I want to be very clear. I'm Scottish, so I'm allowed to make fun of the Irish, I'm pretty sure. And when I say I'm Scottish, I do mean I'm Scottish in the way that all Americans say they are insert nationality here, in which I mean I was born in Ohio and actually I was born in Kentucky, but that's not here or there. I was raised in Ohio. All my family is from that general area, and we have long generational ties going back hundreds of years to some part of Europe.
So you received your birthright to make fun of the Irish in the mail. How did that work out?
I think the Scottish hate the Irish, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, just generally.
Yeah, so I think I've got to keep that up. I have friends who are Irish, I think. I don't know.
I would hope you do.
I've
I would
got
hope that you've not just written them all off because they're Irish.
Excuse me, your great grandpappy. Where was he from? Oh, he was from Edinburgh? We're good. Oh no, he was from, I cannot think of any Irish cities. That is Dublin? Screw that dude. By the way, guys, this will be a lightly edited podcast because unlike normal podcasts, we're recording this on a Friday evening, which means we have just mere hours to get this edited and sent up to the cloud for you guys to download onto your RSS feeds.
So we should probably be nice to the Irish so that we can use the luck of the Irish to get this thing, up and running and okay. But we do have a theme this week because it's St. Patrick's Day, right?
Right. And our patron saint this week is, in fact, St. Patrick. He did not select these episodes because he's dead. But I do believe he has moved us in the spirit to talk about 3 stories and the 3 sole times the X-Men have hung out with leprechauns.
An actual canonical thing, which is just so amazing. And I love it. So we're going to head to Cassidy Keep today, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Sean Cassidy. Yeah,
no.
boy.
I was very tempted. I even watched a How to Irish Accent video before we came on, and I was like, I'm just not going to do it. I just can't. I can't do it.
We mentioned that it's Friday. And that means, actually, it doesn't mean every Friday, but this particular Friday, one of my good friends said, hey, Zach, you have a beer? And I said, I'd have a beer. So then we went out to happy hour. And happy hour ran long, and now we're here.
And you went to McDonald's and you didn't get your Shamrock Shake. I'm so disappointed.
My wife texts me exactly what we want, and I read that to the cashier because I don't want to screw it up so badly.
So instead of dinner, you come home with 4 Shamrock Shakes?
Honey, this is all they had. I don't know what to tell you. It's vaguely mint-like. Anyway,
all right, where are we starting? We got to get over to Cassidy Keep here.
So back in our Christmas episode, we mentioned 2 stories that we said, and we'll get to those.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of a callback, a Claremontian event, if you will, something that y'all readers have forgotten about, but us, the crafters of this podcast tale, have not. This is Uncanny X-Men 101 to 103, and it starts as something and ends as something completely different, which is pretty neat.
Actually, this is exactly how I'm hoping the Dark Phoenix movie goes.
Jeez, okay, I knew we were going to talk about that. Did
Yeah,
you
go
like
ahead.
the trailer? Did you like the trailer that came out for it?
I did not particularly like the first trailer that well, okay, let's back up a second. There was a teaser trailer that was released way back. I was fine with that.
It was fine.
The most recent one that they debuted on, was it on Kimmel? I think they debuted it on.
I think it was on
or
Kimmel.
Fallon.
I didn't watch it. I watched it on the YouTube.
Yeah, one of the Jimmys. I didn't really like that trailer very much. The international version of the trailer that kind of leaked on Vimeo and then they officially released a couple days later, I thought that was pretty solid. So I don't know. I think your mileage is going to vary in terms of your expectations of this movie. I think a lot of people are just afraid that it's just going to be The Last Stand again.
Which, okay, people. The Last Stand had a lot of problems. Core to that was trying to mix in a very good story, Astonishing X-Men Gifted, with another very good story, Dark Phoenix Saga, in both of those stories being completely unrelated. Also, Brett Ratner was a problem.
Yeah, so a lot of troubles with that. I don't know. I'm going to try and keep an open mind about Dark Phoenix. Every time I see the poster at my local movie theater, I'm excited. You know, I wasn't you know that I really did not like Apocalypse. Like I really, really didn't like it. So I'm just hoping
I
that
feel
we
like
rebound.
I've got to rewatch it.
We got to rebound.
It'll be interesting. I'm gonna be there opening day because here's the thing, guys. I kind of love the X-Men movies. I understand their flaws, and everyone who hates them, your opinion is valid. I love that stuff. It's my jam.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the fun of them too, is that, you know, I think we've deduced that there's more good ones than bad ones, but there's still some stinkers in there. So, you know, you don't know what you're going to get. And we never really can be sure if we're getting that New Mutants movie. So, you know, this might be the last hurrah.
Anyway, Uncanny X-Men 101 starts at the aftermath of that story where the X-Men went into space and fought the Sentinels.
Yeah.
On Christmas.
Right.
And anyway, Jean is piloting the thing back. And if we remember at the end of that story, Jean was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, their spaceship crashes into Jamaica Bay, which, guys, it took me too long to understand that Jamaica Bay was in New York City and not in Jamaica, the country.
They talk about Kennedy Airport.
I first read those issues when I was like 10. I was like, oh, Jamaica Bay, like Jamaica, the city or the country. That's fine. I'm from Ohio. I'm not one of those East Coast yuppies like you, Adam.
I know. So sorry. So coastal elite in my bubble. But this is like, I mean, this is epic at the beginning with the Phoenix rising out of the water, shouting how she's Phoenix. And
hear me, X-Men. No longer am I the woman you once knew. I am fire and life incarnate. Now and forever. I am Phoenix. I taught my child how to say that, and I'm very proud.
I like that she's a baritone now. That's nice.
It's okay. Here's the thing, guys. Remember when we said this is lightly edited? That means that normally I would add like some reverb to that thing and make it all like podcast effects.
Effects.
We ain't doing that. I'm essentially just going to trim it up to the start and end of the episode, add the intro and outro track, and say we're good. So if this is your first episode, sorry, our production quality normally much better.
I think another very interesting thing happens as Jean is in the hospital, and then we finally realize that she's going to make it. We often talk about Wolverine's feelings for Jean being retconned in, but he
not 100%.
He does go out of his way to buy her some flowers and talk about how he's, you know, got some of those manly emotions. And then, of course, he walks in and everybody else is visiting Jean, which, of course, they are. And he has to throw the flowers away. So poor Logan.
He's just not very smart.
Oh, wait. We can't call him Logan yet. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. We just don't know what Wolverine is thinking. Anyway, Professor X then decides, hey, X-Men, look, Jean's just going to be in the hospital. Scott is her, lover, so he can stay. The rest of y'all go on vacation. And Sean Cassidy said, oh, boy, I just found out that I inherited my castle, eh? So we should all go to Ireland, yes? Yeah, Faith and Begorrah. and they go to Ireland.
Don't do that again.
I'm gonna try not to, but we got a lot of Sean Cassidy, who is a character I actually really like. Like, can we give a spoiler for last week's comics real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. Sean Cassidy's leading the Mutant Liberation Front right now, which is buck wild, and I'm very into it. Him and Hope. Here's the thing. I think they're actually the good guys.
Well, was that explicitly spelled out? I think they were rescuing Forearm.
No, they were attacking a pharmaceutical thing. Which,
okay. So they're escaping with Forearm. Like,
yeah.
All right.
They're liberating some mutants. Mutant Liberation Front actually was pretty well-meaning. They just happen to be run by Strife, who's bad. I like to think that Forearm's a pretty good dude, all things considered.
Well, and if Zombie Sean's got to do something with his time, he might as well do that, right?
Yeah. Anyway, they go to Zombie Sean's castle.
Yes.
And then awaiting them after some flirting and some being in a castleness is Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy.
Woohoo! The bromance to end all comics bromances.
I love them so much. I love them so. Here's the thing. I don't actually like Black Tom Cassidy. Like, if there's a Black Tom Cassidy solo, count me out. I don't care. Black Tom and Juggernaut.
Is that a thing, though? Do they ever separate? Like, Juggernaut can stand on his own, but Black Tom is never by himself, is he?
I've got to imagine it's happened before.
Oh, no. He's so stupid by himself. He's just like the guy with a stick.
Does he even shoot powers out of his stick? But Black Tom has a shillelagh, guys.
Yes.
Black Tom shoots energy out of his shillelagh, and I'm not 100% sure that happens in the story.
I think he does it at least once. He does blast.
He does it to Banshee, and then Banshee says, "Tom, don't you know about our powers don't work against each other, yeah?" That was not Irish at all, guys. These accents are failing me.
So there's a lot of fun stuff here. We get Ororo's claustrophobia backstory for the first time, which the animated series really exploited a lot. But
they drop a ton of exposition about Storm in here. Like, in 3 pages, they're like, hey, here's an incredibly convoluted backstory for Aurora Monroe. Go deal with this, comics. Like, they could have just added, oh, my parents died in this explosion.
Nope.
But they jumped in. Remember how I was an African princess? Well, also I was a thief before that. And then my parents died in an explosion before that. But they were actually journalists, and my mom was a queen in Africa, and they lived in Brooklyn.
It's a lot.
They lived in the Bronx, I'm actually pretty sure, if I'm remembering right. But everything's a little hazy. I don't know the 5 boroughs all that well.
That's okay. We do get round 1 of Colossus and Juggernaut.
Colossus loses.
Juggernaut is just taking everybody out, and one of the people who's like really knocked out in here is Nightcrawler. And who does Nightcrawler get rescued by?
Leprechauns.
That's right. There are straight up leprechauns living in Cassidy Keep who rescue Nightcrawler, are amazed as Nightcrawler is by his like ability to disappear into shadow. And these leprechauns, they seem to know quite a bit, don't they?
Yeah. Why do the leprechauns know that Wolverine's name is Logan?
Well, thank you, leprechauns, because we didn't know Logan's name was Logan before that.
It's nuts. That's just how it's revealed. It's like, oh, by the way, we know who you are, Logan. And Logan is like, how do you know my name? And you don't think about that when you're just reading it casually. But if you're looking with a critical eye and looking at the whole run, you realize this is how it gets revealed. That like his name, a name that's big enough to just say this is the name of a movie, and we all know who we're talking about. We're talking about Mr. Swordhands. It comes from leprechauns?
Yeah. Yep.
Jeez,
and it's the most leprechaun
looking
looking of the leprechauns. Like the leprechauns just kind of look like shorter people with pointy ears. But this guy who knows Logan's name is like, he's got the green outfit on. Like he's ready to give you a bowl of Lucky Charms.
Artist Dave Cockrum was not pulling any punches, nor was writer Chris Claremont, who we forgot to credit in this story, because I just assume everyone knows who wrote and draw every Claremont comic from like his first run. Sorry, guys.
I also love how this ends by they flip Black Tom into the sea, and Juggernaut's so mad that his bro like went into the water that he like dives in after him, and that's how they win. They can't win, so they have to dump back Black Tom in the water.
It's very good. I love Black Tom and Juggernaut's bromance. In fact, one of my many problems with Deadpool 2, Electric Boogaloo, is that they had Juggernaut and they had Black Tom, I guess technically, and they didn't exploit their very, very good friendship, and in fact made Black Tom the butt of a very weird joke.
Yeah.
And then shot him in the face. Ugh.
The less said about Deadpool 2, the better. I like
accidentally watched the last like 30 minutes of that at a co-worker's hotel room, which was a long-term stay from India, so that's a less weird sentence than it really sounds. He made food. It was delicious. Prashant, if you're listening, your curry was fabulous. But we did end up having the last half hour of that on HBO, and I was just shaking my head the whole time like, this is not what I wanted.
All right. I think this is really quality classic X-Men. I mean, we start off with the reveal of the Phoenix. We get Aurora's...
That's the best part. That's easily the best part.
We get Aurora's claustrophobia backstory. We get fun bromance between Black Tom and Juggernaut. We get Leprechauns, who then reveal Wolverine's real name. I mean, this is fantastic stuff.
It's a good, solid story. I don't think it's the best of the early X-Men stuff. Like, this is still Claremont and Cockrum figuring out what X-Men are going to be.
Yes.
They aren't there yet. In fact, it takes them a little while to really figure out what X-Men should be.
I will say, I think we put the first appearance of the Juggernaut at 118 on our list of, wow, we've got over 200 stories on this list now.
201, in fact, starting from Days of Future Past, in Astonishing X-Men Gifted and God Loves Man Kills, and going all the way down to NYX, X-Men Phoenix Legacy of Fire, edited by C.B. Cebulski, who I did ask to interview, and we'll see what happens. Marvel's probably going to say no.
Fingers crossed.
And then X-Men The Draco.
Is this better or worse than the first appearance of the Juggernaut?
The first appearance of the Juggernaut is at 118, and I think this is better.
I do too.
I don't think this is even the best of the Claremont and Cockrum X-Men stories.
No, of course not.
Like, we have up on our list number 73, Generation X, number 4, Between the Cracks, which isn't a Claremont and Cockrum story, but it's one that I looked at. And I don't think it's better than that. I don't think it's better than like All New X-Men, or no, I'm sorry, All New Wolverine Annual number 1, where Laura Kinney and Spider-Gwen switch bodies. Probably better than Battle of the Atom at number 83, though. And probably better than Last Will and Testament of Charles Xavier.
Yeah, I think a good determinant here might be whether we think this is better than Fall of the Mutants. What do you think about that?
I don't think it technically is better than Fall of the Mutants.
All right, well then we found our ceiling.
It's better than Avengers World 17.
Yeah, I think so too. So we good with that? This is going to be our new 81?
Yep, Uncanny 101 to 103, Juggernaut and some Leprechauns and Cassidy Keep and all that stuff.
And you might imagine that this would be the last time that we visit Cassidy Keep, and you would be wrong.
Not so, friends. We've got several more occasions, including our next story, which is Uncanny X-Men First Class, number 8, The Curse of Craeliach. I can't do an Irish book, don't you know?
Yeah,
do you want to take a shot at that word, Adam?
The Craeliach? The Craeliach? Craeliach? I don't know what I'm saying.
Man, I'm so glad this is an edit-free episode, because that's some bad mouth sounds right there.
All right, so before we talk about this, can you explain this series to me? Because I don't know what this is.
Okay, so this is an issue written by Scott Gray and Fernando Blanco. This was a series. This entire Uncanny X-Men First Class was a sort of spin-off of the X-Men First Class concept, where they filled in the gaps of the Silver Age. And they decided, instead of filling in the gaps of the Silver Age, why don't we fill in the gaps of the Claremont Cockrum run, essentially?
Which is a weird concept because there's no gaps.
No, right? It's a pretty straightforward and solid story.
Yeah.
That's pretty tight, but
jam-packed. Anyway.
Yeah, they make gaps and make them appear. So this is taking place pretty soon after the story we just reviewed. We don't really review. We kind of just, I think rank is the right word. Because it's not really a review. It's not really a recap, but it's definitely a ranking.
I like this issue. This is kind of fun.
Kind of fun is the right word.
All right. It's a fun concept. And I like the basic premise that not only is Sean Cassidy Banshee, not only was he a secret
Interpol agent,
right?
Sean Cassidy,
but he was essentially raised by leprechauns. Like,
he
went to school, was taught by leprechauns. He was
in Cassidy Keep,
he was
which
homeschooled
also
by
means
leprechauns.
Black Tom was also homeschooled by leprechauns. So they've got a rough track record.
We get reintroduced to the caretaker of Cassidy Keep, Eamon, who will pop up in our next story.
Yeah, he's not a leprechaun in this story from 2010.
No, we'll come back to that. And this is a murder mystery.
Yeah, a leprechaun's been murdered. Finnegan Bradley was murdered, and Banshee is upset.
Yeah.
And with him is Kurt Wagner and Peter Rasputin and Logan, who the leprechauns do know in a story that's never been revealed. And damn it, Marvel, let me tell it. Guys, I don't have a pitch, but just you give me that green light. Trust me, I'll come up with something. It'll be very readable.
So I guess the general premise is that they take a couple pages to solve the mystery. Turns out that one of the leprechauns is not a leprechaun and is
he's half leprechaun.
What is he? He's a she? Am I saying that right? There's like a little pronunciation here somewhere.
Sidhe, which I think is actually pronounced like she.
Okay.
Or something.
She's kind of like an evil butterfly, right?
They're fae. They are fairies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a she. So it's a banshee, like Sean Cassidy, is a version of the Seiichi. Also, Kasith from Final Fantasy VII, the cat that sits upon the stuffed animal?
I have to take your word for it.
Adam, are you not a Final Fantasy VII person? Because that's like your age group.
I never played that. I'm sorry.
Do you not know about Cloud Strife?
I know who Cloud is.
Do you know about Tifa or Eris or Barret?
I don't know these
or
words.
Sid or Vincent?
Were they in Kingdom Hearts? Then I might know them.
Cloud was defo in Kingdom Hearts. He's the very sad man that hangs out in Hercules' house.
No, I'm that guy who played Kingdom Hearts and was like, "Ooh, Goofy," and I was like, "Who are these weird characters
Jeezy
are wearing all this leather?"
Is wild. Here's the thing, and we'll get back to Uncanny X-Men First Class Volume 1, number 8 soon. Donald Duck is a world-famous cartoon character.
Yep, my favorite, actually.
He's very good. He is a character that my son, my 3-year-old child, did watch do a dance at Disney Junior Dance Party last night as we're recording this. So he's a child's television icon. He's also a wizard in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
He can cast Blizzardara on you and Frisia real good. And that's wild to me that Donald Duck is so much to so many people.
Hey, I mean, Mickey's like a sword-wielding, hoodie-wearing goth guy.
Excuse me. They're keyblades. They're swords that when you stab them into people, they unlock their death.
Anyway, I button mashed my way through the first two. I'm very mad that I don't have. They got to bring that to Switch, man. I want to play that darn game. Anyway,
Wait, hold on. You didn't play Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance?
I haven't had a major video game system since a Wii. So what system would that have been on? I don't even know.
I don't. One of the handheld ones. You didn't play Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories?
No, I don't know.
You didn't play Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days?
No.
You didn't
No.
play Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep?
I'm impressed that you're remembering all of these game names. It's
I
pretty
remembered
impressive.
half of them, and then I had to quickly Google the Kingdom Hearts Wikia because I had to know exactly what the number of 358 over 2 days was. It's
All
a
right.
bad video game title. Anyway, Uncanny X-Men First Class, right?
Yeah, so because this little like dark fairy emerges, he summons all of the mythical creatures from
Otherworld?
Ireland into Cassidy Keep. There's like ogres and trolls and goblins, and Wolverine very aptly notes that this is the stupidest fight he's ever been in.
Which is
And,
just not true, Logan.
no.
You've been in
No.
some dumb fights.
Well, maybe at this point in continuity, who knows? And then Banshee knocks the fairy out. All the mythical creatures are like, "Oh, how'd we get here?" And then it's over.
Yeah, that's about the long and short of it.
Yeah.
The murder mystery part is not that engaging, and I would say it's very difficult to. So I think the good part of a murder mystery story is if the reader is able to follow the clues and come to the same conclusion as the protagonist, even if only on the second read.
Right. Not following it.
I don't think this story does that because his big clue is that Finian wrote out all of the letters to Declan McGinnis's name in an acrostic. That's a dumb thing. It relies on us knowing that Finian was super into very proper grammar, which is weird. Anyway, I don't know. It's fine. The art's fine in this. The writing's fine on it. It's just a weird story, right?
Yeah, I think it's more quirky than anything else. I think the art's pretty good.
I think it's solid.
I like
don't know these creators, honestly. Like, I can't think of another thing that I've read of Fernando Blanco or Scott Gray.
Well, that's okay. But
He
I think
only done 23 Marvel comics.
Well, maybe he's done some other stuff. I don't know.
Mostly Marvel zombies, now that I'm looking at it on the Marvel Wikia.
I can see this style, fitting with that.
It could actually work on that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna want to seek this out unless you're really wanting to track down your Leprechaun lore. But it is
like we do.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I can't imagine that you're going to be like, oh, I gotta find this issue, because it's just a random story about the Leprechaun murder mystery, and if you need to read that, cool. But I don't think most people are going to want to seek this out.
Fun fact, writer Scott Gray has pretty much only written for Doctor Who magazine.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, which I guess Marvel published in the 90s?
Well, Marvel did have the Doctor Who license at one point, right?
Did they? I don't follow the Doctor.
I don't know that one either. People always talk about the Doctor, and
Who?
Yeah, the Who.
Man, they're tired of that joke, ain't they?
So where's this going on the list?
Not as high as Uncanny 101 to 103.
No.
Probably not as high as like Uncanny 300, which is at 130. I like X Campus better than it, which is at 155.
You know what I was looking at? Another like kind of well-crafted but meaningless kind of story is at 173. We have Robert Kirkman's Cable and Wolverine Mignola homage.
I like this better.
Okay. So we've got a little window here. So how high would you go?
Well, pretty quickly above that at 168, we have the first appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yep.
And then right below that, we have Cable the Long Way Home, which involves the Sugared Man.
Yeah.
And then right below that, we have the first appearance of Adam X the Extreme.
That is better than this, for sure. Curse of the Mutants. Interesting comparison here. Better or worse than Curse of the Mutants?
Adam, this is me.
So better.
I think it's better than Curse of the Mutants, worse than the first appearance of Adam X the Extreme.
All right, so this is our new 171.
It legitimately is. That would be Uncanny X-Men, First Class, Volume 1, Number 8.
All right.
First Class.
Leprechaun Murder Mystery.
Yeah, that's all. I'm not going to call it the Curse or whatever it is.
No. And now we're going through these stories in order of canonical chronology, but in terms of publishing chronology, there was another Cassidy Keep story in between these two that we just started with, right?
Yes, the only other that is not an 8-page story in Marvel Comics Presents.
Okay.
There's only 4 Cassidy Keep stories, which is wild because Cassidy Keep does not fit in with the X-Men at all, but should totally be used more.
I think it's fun.
Can you imagine? I know she's Welsh, but can you imagine like a Pixie story set in Cassidy Keep?
Yes.
It'd be very good.
That'd be great. Why not? Let's send them all abroad. I don't know. So when else did we head back to Cassidy Keep? Because we got a third story here.
We did in 1995. So in our ever-going quest to just talk about that first chunk of Generation X a ton, we have Generation X 8 and 9, which is What Happened to Cassidy Keep. It's written by Scott Lobdell, and Jeff Loeb has a credit on this, with pencils by Roger Cruz and Tom Grummett. So this is the in-between chunk where Bachelot wasn't drawing the book, but he was still doing covers.
Right. And there's sort of a Joe Mad kind of style to this, right? Like it's...
Roger Cruz was very much a whatever is the flavor of the week kind of guy. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, there's sort of elements of Jim Lee type faces here, Joe Mad type bodies and poses and things like that. And there's even some nods to Chris Pachalo's style here and there, but it's
especially with the dragon.
Yeah, but this is an interesting mixed bag for sure.
What happened this issue, Adam? Adam, my good sir.
Well, Generation X, who are led by Sean Cassidy and Emma Frost, have returned to Cassidy Keep to find that it is missing, and it is enshrouded in mist that transports them off to kind of a magical, mystical land inhabited by all kinds of creatures, and they get separated, and hijinks ensue. And
that's about right.
Yeah. So Chamber and Sync have to. What do they battle? They're these
stuff. They battle mystical creatures,
kind of
from
off-screen knights.
For fairy tale. They play the Sunspot role in this. If we're talking about the Asgardian Wars,
yeah, there's kind of a nod to that here, where they're all getting split up and they have to go. But this is short. This is only 2 issues, so we don't have a lot of time for misadventures. One of the weirdest things that happens here is that Emma and Sean run into Eamon, who, for whatever reason, I guess Scott Lobdell just didn't go back and do his homework, is now a leprechaun?
Yeah, Eamon O'Donnell, who's the Sensual, essentially the Alfred of Cassidy Keep. He's a leprechaun now.
I did a double take because I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? But no, I had read the other 2 stories. I was like, he's not a leprechaun. He's
I also
a guy.
did have to recheck. He's just supposed to be a dude. Maybe he's a dude in a leprechaun, like he's a leprechaun in a dude outfit.
Whoa.
Man, I know. Maybe we're all just leprechauns in dude outfits. Who knows?
We're all like strong in the in the X-Force annual. We're all just little fish babies in big people bodies.
I'm so glad you said that because I was about to do the exact same thing. This is why we're good podcast friends.
And then Skin and Penance have to fight a cigar chomping dragon.
Which is very good because Skin knows that he is not well equipped to fight a dragon. But he does use all of his bluster to try and distract the dragon long enough so that he doesn't have to fight him, while like M and Husk and Jubilee try and fix a machine that a fairy is telling them to fix.
Yeah, I mean, this almost has like an Excalibur feel to it. Like
It has a super Excalibur feel to it.
It's very silly. Skin is just like trying to joke his way through this fight with the dragon. He's making him laugh, and they're trying to fix this what is it, fairy engine or something along those lines.
I don't know, MacGuffin. It's a MacGuffin.
Well, especially because I guess Chamber walks into it, blasts some throat stuff. I mean, I don't know, star power, and the thing just like kicks back into action, and then they leave. Like, okay.
Yeah, look, it's not like tightly scripted.
No, it's pretty inconsequential. I think it's fun.
There's some good moments too, like at the end. M goes into one of her trances, which Scott Lobdell blames on autism, which isn't how that works, and is bad. But anyway,
not aged well.
M, who is really two kids in a trench coat, does talk to Emma and say that, hey, I really feel bad that I kind of screwed up over there. And Emma like reassures her and say, you'll get him next time, boyo.
Yeah.
And it's like a good scene. Like Emma Frost in Generation X is great. And everyone should appreciate this specific Emma Frost more. I love
it's
Generation
really well
X Emma. Oh, like it's why I love this series. Like Banshee is so good. Emma is so good. All the kids are so good. Penance is really fun in this issue because she gets to try and poke a dragon, which is about the most characterization we've gotten from Penny.
Yeah, she doesn't do a lot generally except kind of, hang out in a corner and look sullen. So I don't know. It's kind of fun to see them go on these little adventures. It's very fast. If you're a fan of Excalibur, if you're a fan of Asgard Wars, like you probably get a kick out of these two issues. There's, it's meaningless. Like you could skip these two issues and not really miss any continuity, right?
You would miss some weird Mondo stuff that.
Well, they still haven't introduced Mondo, right? Like the annual comes out after this that introduces him.
He's about to be introduced to the team.
Right.
Mondo deserved better.
Well, Mondo spent like how many issues being off screen? Kind of like
about
12.
10.
Yeah.
And then 15 issues on the team, and then in issue 25 is when Black Tom. There we go. That's a Black Tom appearance without Juggernaut. We've solved our Black Tom puzzle.
There we go.
Generation X 25, whatever one is the big one right before Onslaught, where Generation X kind of wraps up the first big era. It's actually super good. Black Tom's a tree person at the time. Everyone thinks that's a Chuck Austin thing. No, that's a Scotty Lobdell thing. That's professional comic book writer Scott Lobdell bringing that Black Tom tree action to you. It's a pretty good story.
So, I mean, if you like early Gen X, you'll probably like this. But
I like early Gen X.
If you wanted to skip it, you wouldn't be missing a whole lot.
Even in relation to early Gen X, you could probably jump forward on this one. But I like it. It's fun. It involves leprechauns and the Fae folk and other things that St. Patrick would in fact enjoy.
Yeah, it's definitely much more fun than the murder mystery we were just talking about.
Yeah, I like it better than number 139 on our list right now, which is Generation X 10 and 11 Death Whale, which is when Chamber fights Omega Red and nothing else happens, really.
I would agree. I think this is better than that. How high would you want to go here?
Not that much higher, if I'm being honest. It's not better than it's not better than the Jeff Parker Exiles, for example, which is another kind of inconsequential run in the grand scheme of things. But I think the Jeff Parker Exiles executes their run better than these two issues of Gen X do.
Yeah, a good comparison here might be kind of the inconsequential Uncanny 341 to 344, where it starts with Cannonball versus Gladiator, which I think is better than this. And then goes to the space stuff and then doesn't really resolve itself very well.
Yeah, I think that's better. Do you think Final Sanction is better? Because I'm on the fence. I've been reading a lot of Wolverine, so my view is skewed.
I think your mileage would vary. You know, it's silly. This story is a little silly. I mean, Final Sanction is also like Cable and Wolverine versus a mountain.
It does have a very large cable gun.
I'm gonna give it to Final Sanction. I think that's better.
Okay. I think it's more consistent than that AVX issue, though.
I do too.
Or A+X, excuse me.
So this is going to be our new 138?
This is going to be our new 138. Gen X 8 and 9. Whatever happened to Cassidy keep.
Nice.
Noise. It's
All
nice,
right.
yeah? Don't you know?
Well, we're learning a lot today. You know,
Yeah, how Zach messes up accents and just mixed in several there trying to be Irish and failing at all.
No, we've learned that everyone is either one of three things. You're either a leprechaun in a person body, you're either a little fish person in a regular sized body, or you're two kids in a trench coat in a regular sized body.
Tag yourself, people. I feel like I'm the two kids in a trench coat.
All right. So 3. That was pretty good. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Yeah, and guys, I understand that next Monday is technically closer to St. Patrick's Day, but we have a special guest then, so screw you. We're going to do this when we want to do it. It's our podcast.
Yes, enjoy your Shamrock Shakes. And
I'd like to... Oh, what else should they enjoy? Corned beef and cabbage?
Corned beef. I like to do some corned beef.
Do you? Cabbage. I've never made it.
No, it's fun. You can usually buy it.
Well, I'm
going to the grocery store.
Next Saturday we're going. I say we. My wife's honestly probably not going. I am going to a St. Patrick's Day party that one of my friends is throwing, and we're going to have corned beef and cabbage and Irish stew. And it's going to be very delightful, I assume.
Irish soda bread. Make sure you bring your Irish soda bread. That's always a favorite.
I asked him tonight at happy hour. I asked him, Joseph, what should I bring? And he said, not corned beef and cabbage, not Irish stew, and not soda bread. And I said, I'll figure it out.
So you're bringing a 6-pack of Guinness.
Okay, actually, let's go real talk. Guinness's 200-year anniversary stout is a very good gas station beer. It's a good full flavored stout that's still on the lighter side because it's Guinness, but definitely adds a lot more complex flavor profiles than you normally get from your domestics or even your large imprint imports that you'll find at like gas stations, I guess. So that's a go-to. I can't find any craft stuff that I really like. I'll just grab this kind of 6-pack.
Zach, I didn't realize that you were just moonlighting with your X-Men podcast and that your real full-time podcasting job was craft beer reviewer.
I did have my bachelor party at Bell's Brewery in Michigan because I do love me some craft beer.
Me too. I just wasn't sure, like the craft brew phenomenon is, I assume, kind of nationwide at this point, but I don't know what your access is. So
yeah, I went to college literally on the border of Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan, which I don't care what anyone says. Those 3 states got some dang good breweries, dude, especially Michigan. No one says Michigan doesn't have good breweries. They're very good. But yeah, I went to school on the corner of those 3 places, so we had a very good distribution list. In fact, the Gaze Hops and Schnapps that was right behind my my apartment building where I lived in college, one of the best liquor stores I've ever been to. Amazing beer selection. If you're ever in Angola, Indiana, which why would you be unless you're going to the lakes? stop by that one Gaze Hoption Schnapps, not the one right off the highway. That one has a little more actual liquor instead of a good beer selection. But the one in town by the Arby's in the McDonald's, that one is lit.
I love how specific this is. Like, can we
There
get
were
some?
two.
Can we
And
get
look,
some some MapQuest directions here?
freaking yes. Get off of the exit that says University in Angola between Angola and LaGrange. Turn right, go to the town square, turn left, and you'll find it. It's not the one that you'll see immediately after your first turn off the highway. That's where the liquor store you should go to is. Thank God we're not editing this podcast. I'm sure everyone is so interested in this.
I am so like happy that our listenership is up because I'm pretty sure that might help one person.
Yo, if you listen to this and you know what Angola, Indiana is, hit me up at Xavier Files on Twitter. That is where you can find all of my latest updates and all the other dumb stuff that I talk about. Also, XavierFiles.com. Hey, Adam, if you're ever in the Indiana area and you want that one listener to get a hold of you, where can they find you?
Guys, you can always hit me up on Twitter at Arthur Stacy. New pages of Bish and Jubes every Monday, adamrec.tumblr.com.
So we'd like to thank St. Patrick for driving the snakes out of Ireland and then also for making us make this episode.
That
for
was
inviting
great.
me up to happy hour.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the McDonald's Corporation for getting my barbecue sauce tonight. That's really put me in this mood.
Boo.
I'm wrecked for celebrating this very dumb themed episode with me.
I loved it. I loved all the Leprechaun stuff. It was great.
It was so good. It was so great. Next week, we're talking to comic creator Vida Alea about Prisoner X and some other stuff. I'm actually super excited. Guys, did you read Prisoner X?
It was good.
Yeah, between Vida and Herman Peralta, things tight. Things real tight. Y'all should read that. It had a character pop up that I dropped the comic book and said, I did not expect this to happen.
It was a dream come true for me. That's for sure.
It would be. It would be. Having read that entire, I'm just going to say X Factor run where that character appears, I don't know why it would be a dream come true, but more power to you. But yeah, we're going to be talking to Vida next week. I'm really excited. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this, but if you guys are going to be at C2E2, I am also going to be there with some people who have also been on this podcast. Not Adam, because he lives very far away.
Sorry.
It's okay. He's going to be at New York Comic Con probably, and you can hit him up there. But I'm going to be at C2E2. I will have copies of my Adam X the Extreme, Age of Adam X the Extreme fan comic that you can just take from my satchel that I will be bringing with me. I'll just have them. I'm going to print off like 50 or 20 or some quantity, and I'm just going to give them away till I run out. I think it'll be a good little thing.
Yeah, and contrary to some press releases that you might have seen, the issues do not come with a free can of Mountain Dew. So just expect.
There's two reasons why that. One, Mountain Dew is very heavy. Two, they do not make the 2007 edition of Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel Halo 3 Finish the Fight that I would have to bring with this issue to make a very good gag. Oh, dang, I want to see if I can get one on eBay for the Gem City Comic-Con appearance that I'm going to have where I'm sharing a table with Luke Hare. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to make any money that weekend. We are going to make a lot of jokes to each other. So it'll be good. He's sleeping in my basement. It's going to be great. Not currently, but in the future. At that
I was going to say, see there now.
No, I'm in that basement bedroom where I record,
Hey.
and I don't see Luke. I do see some stuff on that bed, like baby clothes, that I will have to get down. But anyway, Vita's next week. Go hit us up on all of the social medias. Like, rate us, review us on iTunes. Whatever, guys. I'm not going to edit this part out. But until then, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!